Yes, sir.
Jack Jacobson, DC Board of Education. To the superintendent who's replaced all of his principals in the last 5 years, and talking about the leadership challenges that y'all are facing. A two-part question. First, what's driving those replacements? Is it the principals making their decisions to change their careers or to retire, or is it you and your board working on changing the culture of the district? And then second of all, to what degree does principal retention matter? I know in DC we have a big struggle with retaining high-quality principals, but we know that principals that are retained longer, the students in those schools do better. So if you could speak to both of those, I'd appreciate it.
Are you or me?
Well, are you asking me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's been more than 5 years. As a matter of fact, I've been superintendent since '96.
I misheard that.
If that had happened, neither one of us would have been here today.
It's a combination of things, I think. First of all, I think you got to know what your pipeline holds for you, what you get out of it. When I became superintendent in '96, Dr. Pethel was our human resources person, and we got a dashboard of how many people would be eligible to retire in 5 years. Doesn't mean they will, but you can look at me and tell that sometimes you go beyond the retirement years, still working. But that gives you a good picture. But on the other hand, you have attrition from a variety of ways. We try to be very supportive of our people and try to make sure that they have the appropriate support. But if they can't deliver, then we have a principal change. And I think that is just something that you have to do. As a matter of fact, occasionally it's not bad to do that because we have school to educate kids. And if we aren't educating kids in the school, if it's not getting the results we want, then something needs to give. And I think that nested relationship that you have between the school and the school district, and even further, since it's a state board, that relationship even goes there. There have got to be some things that we do to support people, and I think that's the biggest thing. I think anytime you hire somebody, part of the responsibility of their success is on the district that hires them or the school that hires them. In our case, we let our principals select their teachers, and officially the board hires them, okay? But we do have some obligation there, but that's only if they're being effective in the classroom. Same thing with our principals. And I do think we need to really support, and not just support, but really make sure we recognize our successful people and recognize successful schools. And I really do think there is individual competence that people bring to the job, but there's also the social competence that a principal must develop in that school in order that that school can really educate all the children to the highest level possible. And so that's how I think our last person, I think it was the lady that used to be at McKendree, was the last principal that I had hired. That was like, I think that was 2010. Since then, all of that. So few have unfortunately died, but due to old age, not hard work. But there's, you know, it's just one of those things that there's got to be a pipeline for you to grow your people, and we actually have people who leave us. Dr. Pringle used to be a principal in Gwinnett, and went on and is doing well, and we're very proud of the work she does at Richmond County.
That really gets to that district leadership in that chapter, because the culture in a school is not going to change without strong leadership. And what I've seen from Gwinnett as a parent. I graduated from Gwinnett County Schools. I've had 2 children graduate and 1 on deck. Is that the district supports them, trains them, gives them the tools they need, and then holds them accountable. And that's a step we miss a lot in education, is the accountability, because that's hard, it's painful. You know, too much turnover is a bad thing. Not enough is a worse thing, I would argue. And we do not do, I think, a good job as state or in the business of education of that account, because it's tough, because we're dealing with people, and particularly in rural communities. You're dealing with someone you have to see at church. You're dealing with someone you have to see at school, and in the community, in the football field. Kids play together. So that's really what we've got to do. I think one of the things we need to have some strong looks at, and what we're trying to do even with the CTO position in Georgia, is get that referee in there sometimes, if you want to call it that, to make some of those decisions that are just hard on that local level.